Did you know that in 1931, a scientist received the Nobel Prize for discovering the primary cause of cancer? It was this man, Otto Heinrich Warburg, 1883–1970. Nobel Prize 1931 for his thesis The Primary Cause and Prevention of Cancer. According to the scientist, cancer is the result of the antiphysiological food and lifestyle. Antiphysiological. Why? Because eating antiphysiological, acidifying foods-based diet and sedentary lifestyle creates an environment in our body acidity. The acidity in turn expels oxygen from the cells. He said, "The lack of oxygen and acidosis are two sides of the same coin. When you have one, you have the other. The acidic substances reject oxygen, whereas alkaline substances attract oxygen. In an acidic environment, yes is an environment without oxygen." And stated that, deprive a cell 35% of its oxygen for 48 hours can become cancerous. According to Warburg, all normal cells have an absolute requirement for oxygen, but cancer cells can live without oxygen, a rule without exception. And also, the tissues cancerous are tissues acids, whereas healthy tissues are alkaline. In his book The Metabolism of Tumors, Warburg demonstrated that all forms of cancer are characterized by two basic conditions, acidosis and hypoxia, oxygen deprivation. He also discovered that cancer cells are anaerobic, do not breathe oxygen, and cannot survive in the presence of high levels of oxygen. In contrast, the glucose survive, as long as the environment is free of oxygen. Therefore, the cancer would be nothing more than a defense mechanism that have certain cells of the body to stay alive in acid environment and devoid of oxygen. In summary, healthy cells live in an alkaline environment and oxygen, which allows normal operation. Cancer cells live in an extremely acidic and devoid of oxygen. Before continuing, once finalized the process of digestion, food according to the quality of protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, and vitamins that provide, creates a condition of acidity or alkalinity of the body. The result acidifying or alkalizing is measured by a scale called pH, whose values are in the range of 0 to 14, being pH 7 neutral pH. It is important to know how health affects acid and alkaline foods, as for cells to function properly and appropriately, the pH must be slightly alkaline. In the healthy person, the blood's pH is between 7.40 and 7.45. Note that if the blood pH to fall below 7, go into a coma near death. So what have we to do with this? Analyzing the average feeding. Foods that acidify the body, food that is worse. Refined sugar and all products, worst of all, no protein or fat, has no minerals or vitamins, only refined carbohydrates that stress the pancreas. Its pH is 2.1, which is highly acidifying. Meat, all. Cow's milk and all its derivatives. Refined salt. Refined flour and all its derivatives, pasta, cookies, etc. Bakery products, mostly saturated fat, margarine. Caffeine. Alcohol. Snuff. Medicines. Any food cooking removes oxygen and converted into acid, including cooked vegetables. All that contain preservatives, colorings, flavorings, stabilizers, etc. In short, all packaged foods. Blood is constantly self-regulated, not falling into metabolic acidosis, thus guaranteeing the proper functioning of cells, optimizing metabolism. The body should be obtained from food bases, minerals, to neutralize the acidity of the blood of the metabolism, but all foods already mentioned contribute very little, and in return demineralize the body, especially refined. Keep in mind that the modern lifestyle, these foods are consumed 5 times a day, 365 days a year. Interestingly, all these foods named are antiphysiological. Our body is not designed to digest all that crap. Alkalizing foods, that is, we do well. All raw vegetables, some are acidic, but reaction in the body are alkalizing, others are slightly acidifying, but bringing with them the necessary foundation for proper balance, and raw provide oxygen, cooked, no. Fruits, like vegetables, but for example the lemon has a pH of about 2.2, but within the organism, is highly alkalizing effect, perhaps the most powerful of all. The fruit provides healthy amounts of oxygen. Seeds, apart from all its benefits, are highly alkalizing, such as almonds. Grains, the single grain is millet alkalizing, all others are slightly acidifying but very healthy. All should be eaten cooked. Honey is highly alkalizing. The chlorophyll in plants, any plant, is highly alkalizing, especially the aloe vera. Water is important for the supply of oxygen. Chronic dehydration is the main stress of the body and the root of most degenerative diseases, says Dr. Batmanglaj Bidun. Exercise oxygenates your entire body, beware a sedentary lifestyle. Dr. George W. Cryle, of Cleveland, one of the world's leading surgeons, who openly declares, all natural misnamed deaths are only the end point of saturated acids in the body. Contrary to this, is completely impossible that a cancer grow on a person to release his body from the acidity, nourishing food that produce alkaline metabolic reactions, and increasing the consumption of pure water, and that, in turn, avoid foods that cause this acidity, and take care of the toxic elements. In general, cancer is not contagious or inherited. What is inherited are the eating habits and living environment that produce it. Mencken wrote, the struggle of life is against the retention of acid. The aging, lack of energy, temper, and headaches, heart disease, allergies, eczema, hives, asthma, arteriosclerosis calculations, and are not that the accumulation of acids. Theodore Baradi says in his book Alkalize or Die. He said, it does not matter the countless names of illnesses. What matters is that they all come from the same root cause, a lot of waste acids in the body.